The conflict was on the calendar a full year in advance. For 2026, the Knoxville Nationals moved its date back a week and landed directly on top of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Richmond Raceway, roughly 1,100 miles apart. Kyle Larson was committed to both, and everyone knew he could only run one. He had already made peace with missing the $200,000 finale in Iowa. On Saturday night, August 15, 2026, Kyle Larson was scheduled to be in exactly one place, Richmond Raceway in Virginia, running the Cookout 400 for Hendrick Motorsports. The 65th Knoxville Nationals, the biggest sprint car race in the world, was running that same night at Knoxville Raceway in Iowa. Larson had already won the pole for that race on Thursday. But the plan was for crew member Trevor Canales to start the number 57 and park it. Speaking to reporters on Friday, Larson said, "It's fine, it shouldn't revolve around me anyway." Hours later, he would climb out of a sprint car in Knoxville National's victory lane. To understand how he got there, you have to start with why he was in Iowa at all. Kyle Larson drives the Silva Motorsports number 57, owned by Paul Silva. That team races only about a quarter as often as a full-time operation, so it enters every event it can. Larson has said he feels he owes Paul Silva and Trevor Canales, one of his best friends, every chance at a worthwhile payday. Speaking on Thursday, Larson explained, "This is what Paul does for a living, and Trevor. Like I said, anytime we get the chance to race, we try to." That approach produced a dominant week during Southern Iowa Speed Week. On Sunday, Kyle Larson won the Capitani Classic at Knoxville Raceway, worth $13,000. On Monday, he won the Front Row Challenge at Southern Iowa Speedway, worth $21,000. On Thursday, he won the Knoxville Nationals preliminary feature, worth $12,000. And earned the pole for the finale by coming from 8th and passing Garrett Williamson late for his 15th career Knoxville Raceway feature. He finished the preliminary nights with 485 points, 4 ahead of Sheldon Haudenschild. His entry created a debate that lived mostly among observers rather than competitors. Should Kyle Larson have been allowed to run the preliminaries knowing his NASCAR obligations were expected to keep him from Saturday? Two of the sport's longest tenured reporters took no issue. T. Buffenbarger of TJSlideways.com noted that Paul Silva makes his living owning the number 57. Jeremy Elliott of SprintCarUnlimited.com called the idea that Larson was taking someone else's spot a nothing burger. Elliott added, "Everybody competed on the same playing field, and the easy answer is to beat him." There was precedent, too. Trevor Canales had done the same start and park for Rico Abreu back in 2015 when NASCAR commitments kept Abreu from the finale. Larson himself was not interested in debating the rule. "If they want to change the rule, that's totally fine," he said. "Like, we don't care. Do whatever they gotta do, really." He had also made peace with the schedule long before the weekend. "It doesn't kill me. I haven't lost sleep over it since knowing the schedule probably about a year now," he said. Larson had competed in every Knoxville Nationals since 2016, and this was the first time in that stretch that his Cup Series schedule directly conflicted with the event. The night began at Richmond Raceway. The Cookout 400 covered laps on the 0.75 miles short track with a 7 p.m. Eastern start. Kyle Larson qualified 30th on Friday afternoon, fell a lap behind early, and ran 25th after the first stage. He then climbed to 13th by the end of the second stage, earning the free pass back to the lead lap. He had entered the weekend off a stretch of 4 finishes outside the top 30 in 5 races, which had dropped him to 10th in points. While Larson raced, crew chief Cliff Daniels was monitoring a rain delay in Iowa. During a caution near the midpoint of the race, he opened the door. Over the radio, Cliff Daniels told his driver, "Knoxville has not even started hot laps yet." Big delay for the race. He added, "Don't know if it's tomorrow yet. But they're way behind, just so you know." Larson asked, "Knoxville?" Daniels answered, "Yeah, we're working on plans for you." Larson replied, "Okay." Once Iowa became a real possibility, Larson's Richmond run improved. He moved into the top 10 late and finished 6th, his best result since Sonoma. Behind the scenes, Hendrick Motorsports president Jeff Andrews helped lay out the plan, and Larson's public relations representative, Colby Gornovich, coordinated with people in Knoxville. Larson kept declining the idea. After the race, Cliff Daniels explained, kept telling me no. He kept telling Jeff Andrews no, but we were persistent because we knew that if we get him there, he can probably do something special. The Richmond race ended around 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Kyle Larson parked on pit road, bypassed his media obligations, ran to the hauler, grabbed food and hydration from his team, and was rushed toward Richmond International Airport. A chartered plane was waiting. The aircraft, tail number N501KL, departed Richmond at 10:57 p.m. Eastern, bound for Pella, Iowa, the nearest airport to Knoxville. What happened next moved beyond a single race. Fans began tracking N501KL on Flight Radar 24, and it became the #1 tracked flight in the world. At one point, more than 16,000 people were following the aircraft as it crossed from Virginia toward Iowa. At Knoxville Raceway, the crowd was doing the same thing because the raceway put the live flight tracker on its giant video board. Fans in the grandstands cheered every time the icon moved closer during track preparation and hot laps. Journalist Matt Weaver posted from the venue, Knoxville Raceway just put pole sitter Kyle Larson's flight tracker on the big screen. Fans going wild at the sprint car capital of the world. The flight itself became a countdown. Around midnight Eastern, the plane was over Indiana. At 12:25 a.m. Eastern, it was over central Illinois. At 12:55 a.m. Eastern, Kyle Larson landed in Iowa. Cameras from DIRT Vision captured the landing during the C-Main with a police escort waiting on the tarmac. At approximately 1:15 a.m. Eastern, Larson walked through the gate at Knoxville Raceway. Speaking after he arrived, he said, "This is pretty sick. I can't believe it's all working out. I didn't think I'd be here." Larson reached the Knoxville Raceway grounds before the 22-lap B-Main even began, but he missed the A-Main hot laps entirely. He went from a 400-lap race in Virginia to a cold start in the biggest sprint car race in the world with no warm-up laps in the car. The A-Main covered 50 laps and paid $200,000 to win. Kyle Larson started first from the pole he had earned on Thursday, and he led all 50 laps. He was challenged during different stages. Casey Connie passed Sheldon Haudenschild for second on lap 2 and worked to stay within reach. Adjustments made under a red flag kept Casey Connie close. Logan Schuchart passed Casey Connie for second on lap 43, and Casey Connie returned the pass with 3 laps to go. Larson moved back into lap traffic late but pulled away for the win. The top 5 finished in the order of Kyle Larson, Sheldon Haudenschild, Casey Kine, James McFadden, and Logan Schuchart. In Victory Lane, Kyle Larson described the day. "It's extremely surreal," he said. He explained the range of emotions across the previous days, then said, "We were struggling but making improvements, and then all of a sudden Cliff came on the radio and said there was a rain delay here, and they hadn't started hot laps yet. Then I got a kickstart of emotion there." He added, "It's just wild how I'm here tonight." The runner-up understood exactly what he had been racing against. Sheldon Haudenschild finished second for a personal best in the event and his 7th straight top 10 in the race. "I'm glad Kyle got to make it back honestly," he said. "If I want to win this race, I want to beat Kyle and the best there is." In third, Casey Kine recorded his best career Knoxville Nationals result at 46 years old. The result placed Kyle Larson in the record books in several ways. This was his 4th Knoxville Nationals title, adding 2026 to his wins in 2021, 2023, and 2024. All 4 have come in the last 6 runnings of the race. The total ties him with Kenny Weld and Danny Lasowski for the 4th most Knoxville Nationals wins of all time, behind Doug Wolfgang, who leads with 5. The week produced a record that had never been reached before. According to historical records, no driver had ever won 4 times during Knoxville Nationals week, even including the Front Row Challenge. Kyle Larson went a perfect 4 for 4, winning the Capitani Classic, the Front Row Challenge, his preliminary feature, and the finale. The only other drivers to win 3 times during Knoxville Nationals week are David Gravel, Steve Kinzer, and Brad Sweet. There were more numbers attached to the night. The win was his 16th career victory at Knoxville Raceway and his 40th career win with the World of Outlaws Knows energy drink sprint cars, making him the 22nd different driver to reach that mark. His total earnings for the week topped $212,000. which included the finale, the preliminary win, a $2,000 award for winning the pole, and a $10,000 award as the Jesse Hockett Mr. Sprint Car honoree. Kyle Larson credited the organization that made the trip possible. "Huge thank you to everyone at Hendrick Motorsports," he said, adding that he could not do any of it without them and would not have any Knoxville Nationals championships without Hendrick Motorsports. He closed by describing what the night meant to him. "A fourth Knoxville Nationals in a fashion like this is unbelievable," he said. "It feels like a little bit of a dream right now.